Pillow is directed by Paul Michael and features Marianne Goodell and Susan Jane McDonald.
I'm coming. Coming.
Jesus, I need a drink fast.
Janice, what's the matter? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just super.
What time is it?
It's late, maybe 3 o'clock. Listen, do you have a spare pillow? I might have to sleep on your couch tonight.
Certainly, if you need to. Oh, my, you're drinking that scotch awfully fast. You might want to try the less expensive one.
Nah, 2 or 3 more of these and I'll be fine.
What's going on, Janice?
What's going on? Well, I have a bone to pick with you, Wilma. You know that guy you set me up with tonight, Eddie Gibson, that great cat, that ball of fire, that Mr. Wonderful.
Your big date. How did it go?
He's dead.
Oh, you didn't like him.
No, he's dead, kaput, finito, a non-participant in the life experience.
He's dead.
Mm. Which really shouldn't surprise you because the old coot was probably pushing 90.
Oh, no, he wasn't that old. I'd say the far side of 70.
How could you stick me with that decrepit old dinosaur? I'm a vital woman in the prime of my life. I mean, I could go to any bar in this town and have my pick of guys half my age. Guys who at this very moment are still very much alive.
Well, I'm sorry, Janice. I just thought that you being a nice single lady and Mr. Gibson a widower of means, I thought it was a good match.
A good match? The fact that you could even consider hooking me up with old Methuselah up there. Sometimes I wonder if you really know who I am.
You mean he's upstairs in your room right now?
Well, that's why I want to stay down here. I'm not spending the night with a corpse, thank you, regardless of how desperate you seem to think I am.
Well, what happened to him?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. One minute he's conscious, the next bluey. Ugh, I have no luck with men.
Maybe he's sleeping. He tends to sleep a lot in the office.
He's dead, Wilma. I've seen enough dead bodies in my life to know when somebody's kicked the bucket.
You have?
All I can think is his heart must have exploded because there was no advance warning. I mean, we were in bed and things were proceeding very nicely.
Wait,
He seemed to be enjoying himself.
Wait, you were in bed? You mean you were...
It's the middle of the night, Wilma. What did you think we were doing? Playing Parcheesi?
But I thought you didn't like him.
Well, he's hardly my dream man, but once I got past the liver spots and the colostomy bag, I found him quite agreeable. Still, the next time you try to fix me up, I'd appreciate it if you'd pick somebody who's likely to last the night.
Well, have you called the police?
Not yet, because they're going to ask a lot of questions. Watch. They're going to try to say that I was involved somehow.
Well, you were involved, Janice, if you were doing something with him at the time.
Oh, that was just a coincidence. I've had plenty of men in my day, and this is the first one who ever died under me.
Under you? You mean you were on top of him?
Yes, Wilma, I was on top. We have the vote now, you know. Our options have expanded.
But I mean, sitting and bouncing on a man of his age.
Well, I wasn't going to wait for him to climb up on me. It took him 10 minutes just to take off his shoes.
Well, it just strikes me as rather bold for a first date. I mean, Vernon and I have been married for some 26 years, and I have...
Well, maybe you should, honey. A little empowerment once in a while would do you a world of good. It's a new century, Wilma. You don't just have to lie there with your eyes closed and recite the multiplication tables to yourself anymore. Get yourself a pair of spurs and ride that bad boy.
Gracious, we should not be talking about such naughty things. I mean, not with Mr. Gibson dead up there.
Yeah, it's a friggin' shame. Oh, well.
But you say it happened suddenly? I mean, that's a blessing.
Yeah, it did. I took the pillow off his face, and he was all blue. His eyes were bulging. His tongue was swollen. It really took the air out of my balloon, let me tell you.
There was a pillow over his face?
Oh, I was holding it there. That's why I didn't know he was dead until well after the fact.
You were holding a pillow over Mr. Gibson's face.
Oh, it's a little bedroom trick I picked up. See, when you cut the air supply off during sex, it intensifies the orgasm 10 times over. Oh, you and Vernon really should try it. When it works, it's spectacular.
But Janice, for heaven's sakes, you must have suffocated him.
Oh, I don't think so. I've done the pillow routine lots of times. I never lost anybody before. Well, one guy went into a semi-coma, but he had asthma. I found out later. Now, I always ask beforehand.
I mean, didn't you notice anything? Didn't you see Mr. Gibson struggling or waving his arms?
Oh, he couldn't wave his arms. They were tied to the bedpost.
His arms were tied to the bedpost?
Yeah, and his legs spread-eagled is the technical term.
You tied up Mr. Gibson?
You know, there's an unpleasant moral tone creeping into your voice. Yes, I tied up Mr. Gibson. Do you have a problem with that?
That poor old man.
Oh, he loved it. Are you kidding? We were having a blast until he croaked.
I have to say, Janice, if I'd known that you were favored such strange, unsavory practices.
What do you mean strange? These are common sexual techniques familiar to any modern American woman. Don't you ever watch Sex in the City?
Well, I might have led a sheltered life, but I cannot believe that smothering someone while you bounce around on their private parts is a popular form of sex play, even in New York.
All right. The pillow thing is a little more exotic. That's something I picked up back on my own when I was a hooker.
You were a hooker?
Well, an escort. I had my own phone number. It was a youthful phase I was going through when I was supporting my drug habit.
You had a drug habit?
A small one, not heroin or anything, just a little coke here, a little crack there, and I kicked it no problem when I was in prison.
You were in prison?
I don't like talking about that. It was a bullshit charge. I was practically innocent. Anyway, my cellmate, a lovely woman. She was a rather assertive lesbian, and I wound up repaying her. She helped me get clean, and then I wound up repaying her in dribs and drabs. But I learned a lot about myself in the process, and I have no regrets.
I had no idea that you had such a colorful past.
Well, you see, that's my point. If you'd taken the time to really get to know me, then you would know what kind of man to set me up with. It's a very tricky business bringing people together.
If I'd known that you were into kinky, perverted things like this, I would have never set you up at all. I mean, we obviously travel in wildly different circles.
Oh, everybody's into things like that, Wilma. Everybody but you? You think your precious Mr. Gibson was some kind of altar boy? He's the one who wanted to get tied up, you know. He's the one who brought out the maraschino cherries. And you know what else he did?
I don't want to know.
He took out his teeth and gummed my toes.
Ooh!
That's right. Suck the paint right off my nails. So don't be so cocksure about what's normal and what isn't. I'll tell you what's not normal. Being married to the same guy for 26 years, doing the same boring things day after day, never getting on top. I'll bet you don't own a single piece of rubber latex.
I don't.
You're hopelessly out of the loop, Wilma. I should set you up. Oh, I know a couple of guys who could blow some fresh air up your schmata. Up for a price, of course.
I appreciate that, Janice, but I am perfectly happy the way things are. At least I think I am.
That's your life, Shirley Temple.
Well, don't you think it's time we call the police about old Mr. Gibson?
Yeah. I guess I should go up and scrape the candle wax off him.
Janice?
Yeah.
I would love to hear about your lesbian experiences someday.
I'll get my pillow.